You walk into a room and immediately know who's lying because of the body language. When you dream about your friend's brain, the images are so vivid, you wake up with their pain in your chest. But when you avoid certain people at work because they make your skin crawl. Oh, everyone else thinks they're nice. 3 months later, you find out they've been embezzling money. You sit in meetings and watch the unspoken dynamics play. Who really holds the power? Who's planning to quit? Which projects will admit it is a problem? And when you try to explain, they look at you like you've lost your mind. If this sounds familiar, you might be what's called the most dangerous personality type to be born with. Not dangerous to others, dangerous. Jung spent decades studying what he termed intuitive introverts, people whose minds operate like psychics from dimensions most people can't even perceive. Interviews. He described meeting patients who could walk into a room and know intimate details about a stranger's psychology, sense the emotional undercurrents of any situation with uncanny their entire lives, feeling like they were inhabitants of two worlds simultaneously. But here's what the YouTube psychology channels won't tell you about the supposed gift. One of the most difficult lies a person. You see, while everyone else lives in one reality, a concrete, observable world of fact and navigate realities simultaneously. There's the world everyone else sees, and then there's the shadow world you perceive. The world lives, future possibilities, and archetypal patterns that play out beneath the surface of your life. And the soul of this double existence, it's staggering. You begin to wonder if you're crazy. You learn to stay silent about what because sharing it only leads to isolation and misunderstanding. But silence becomes its own prison. Because the visions don't stop. Insights pause. The overwhelming flood of conscious information continues to pour through your mind every single day, and you have nowhere to put it. And if you don't learn to navigate this properly, it will slowly eat the life on the inside. Today, we're going far beyond slow personality typing. We're diving about why intuitive introverts often isolated, understood in their own sanity. We're exploring the specific psychological traps that await this type, individuals end up broken by their own gifts. We're exploring the three-stage journey every intuitive introvert navigate to transform the greatest weakness into their most powerful strength. Difference between thriving and surviving, as this type isn't about learning to trust your intuition, learning to survive it without losing yourself in the process. To understand why this type is so dangerous, we need to understand exactly how your mind works different else's. Carl Jung identified 4 basic psychological functions: thinking, feeling, sensation, and intuition. Most people rely heavily on sensation, what they can see, hear, touch, and measure. The reality is grounded in the introvert. Sensation is the weakest function. Instead, your dominant function is what Jung called introverted intuition. And this is where things get psychologically dangerous. Introverted intuition as perception, unconscious. While other people's minds skim across the surface of reality, yours plunges directly in depths. You don't just see what is. You see what's beneath what is, the hidden structures, the collective unconscious content that most people never access. In Jung's own words, meaning the elements of the unconscious mind itself. You're literally perceiving psychological entities that have physical form, but are more real than anything in the material world. Think about that for a moment. Your primary way of understanding reality is through a function that most people don't even know exists. While they're at, what happened? You're asking, what does this mean? While they're focused on facts, you're trapped. While they're living in the present, you're seeing 3 moves ahead in a cosmic chess. Jung described this beautifully: the intuitive introvert. Inner objects appear to the intuitive perception as subjective images of things, which, though not to be met with external experience, really determine the contents of the unconscious. Translation: you see the blueprints of reality before reality builds itself. But here's where the danger begins. Because sensation is your weakest function, you have very little anchor concrete reality in the here and now. Your attention is constantly being pulled to the world of meanings and possibilities and archetypal patterns. This creates an extraordinary aloofness from tangible reality. You become, in his words, a enigma to your immediate circle. And this is just the beginning. The problems. You see, when your mind operates primarily in the realm of 3 specific psychological traps are waiting for you. Traps that Jung repeatedly used in practice. Traps that transform your greatest gift into a source of profound suffering. The first trap is what Jung called inflation. The second is what modern psychology recognizes as psychic contamination. And third is the most dangerous of all, what Jung described as possession by the unconscious. We're going to explore each of these traps in detail. We're going to understand exactly how they develop, why they're so seductive, and most importantly, how to navigate them without your sanity or your gifts. Because you have something remarkable in his work with intuitive introverts. Those who learn to navigate these traps don't just survive their psychological complexity, they become the most transformative figures in human history. Intuitive introvert's journey follows the same 3 stages. Is the gift, the early discovery of your intuitive abilities, and the intoxicating sense of seeing what others cannot see. Stage 2 is the curse, when that gift becomes overwhelming, destructive, Stage 3 is the action. Learning to channel your abilities without being consumed by them. Most people get stuck in Stage 2. Today, we're going to understand why beyond it. Stage 1 typically begins in adolescence, but some people don't recognize it until much later in life. It's different who always knows when adult lying. Maybe you're the teenager who can predict which couples will break up by watching them interact for 5 minutes. Maybe you're the young adult having improved. At first, this feels incredible. You feel so special, like you've been given a secret superpower that most people don't possess. Jung observed this pattern repeatedly in the press. He described meeting a young, intimate details about his own psychology that she couldn't possibly have known through conventional means. This is the seductive power of introverted intuition. You don't just meet people. You see through them. You don't just observe situations. You understand the archetypal patterns that govern everyone's behavior. This feels like having X-ray vision for human soul. You can walk into any room. Who's in pain? Who's dangerous? You get outcomes.
Pardon me for a second. So yeah, checking out a new, and I kind of like it. I really do. Trying to navigate my winter like this, but hey, live and learn. But I'm happy to be putting this project together for you all. This content so far, make sure to subscribe, like, and share, so this more people in this video can reach more people, so they can get this kind of mindset and 10% skills, 10% skills that anybody can learn. This is your word for it to get back into the video. And also, I would like to know what you guys think about this. I'm all into psychology and mindset, and these are the type of things that help transform my mind and get me in the position I need to be the person I need to be where I want to be. Sometimes it's just us who are in our own becoming the person we need to be where we desire to be. The universe, we're not that person that's ready to receive and that will nurture these gifts that's you're desiring to come to you. Do not worry about tomorrow. This is not a suggestion. Days and nights, so that you will have manageable portions of life to handle. My grace is sufficient for you, but its sufficiency is only for one day at a time. When you worry about the future, you heap debt. You stagger under this heavy load, which I never intended you to carry. Throw off this oppressive burden with one quick thrust of trust. Anxious thoughts meander about crisscrossing your brain about things that doesn't matter. But trust in me brings you directly into my presence, as thus affirms your faith. Shackles of worry fall instantly. Enjoy my presence continually by trusting me at all times. Psalm 62, verse 8. The powerful reader for the day goes hand in hand with this is it. Psalms. I don't know why I feel weird. Like my camera's kind of off and slanted. I got my laptop on a little stand. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for bearing with me.
These times, you can understand better than they understand themselves. And for a while, this seems like pure gift, but Young know a dangerous contempt for the outer world, because their inner perceptions are so rich and accurate, they begin to dismiss concrete reality as somehow inferior or irrelevant. Why focus on mundane details when you can see cosmic patterns? Why pay attention to surface conditions when you can perceive the unconscious dynamics beneath yourself in the present? When you can live in the realm of pure meaning. This is where the first crack is. Because sensation, your connection to the body, to the reality, begins to you start living more and more in your head, in the world of symbols, possibilities, and you become what Jung described as extraordinarily aloof from tangible reality. And slowly, very slowly, you begin that your gift is creating problem relationships. Friends get uncomfortable when you see through their facades, too intense or reading too much into things. Partners feel exposed, like picking from you, and that level of transparency becomes suffocating for them. You start to realize that while your insights are accurate, sharing them often damages your connection. People don't want to be stood that deeply. They don't want their unconscious motivations revealed. They don't want future problems predicted. So you begin first survival skill of the intuitive introvert. Silence. Perceptions to yourself. You learn to nod and smile when you things you already knew. You develop a social mask that hides the depth of what you're actually seeing. Problem. Because now you live your life, your inner with rich, meaningful perceptions, and your outer world of pretending to be normal. Existence begins to build. Jung called this disadvantage of the intuitive introvert. He said things to themselves, and you hardly ever hear them talking of these things. That is a disadvantage, but it is an enormous advantage. The advantage? Your perceptions become defined when you're forced to process them internally. The disadvantage, you begin to feel profoundly alone in the world. And this loneliness, this sin of living between worlds, sets the stage for stage 2. It becomes your prison, when your greatest strength becomes just isolation. The cycle dangers Jung warned about begin to emerge. Stage 2 is where most intuitive introverts get stuck. It's where the gift transformed into a curse, and where Jung's darkest warnings about this type. By this stage, you have to keep your perceptions to yourself. You've developed the social skills necessary for the outer world, but internally, you're during the flood of. Jung identified 3 specific psychological traps. Seductive. Each one promises relief from the burden of your consciousness. Destroy you if you don't understand what's happening. The first trap Jung called archetypal inflation. This happens when your ego begins to identify powerful archetypal conditioning. Remember, as an intuitive introvert, you have direct access to what Jung unconscious. The shared psychological patterns that govern all human. You see the archetypal roles people, the mother, the father, the hero, the sage, the destroyer. But in stage 2, something dangerous happened. Instead of simply perceiving these archetypes, you begin to identify. You start to see yourself as a wise one who understands what others cannot see. You become the prophet who perceives truths that the mass who must sacrifice their own well-being to help an unconscious. Jung saw this pattern repeated, described patients who became convinced they were receiving special messages from the universe, who believed they had been chosen for sacred means, who developed a sense of grandiose specialness, separated them from ordinary humanity. The insidious part. Your perceptions are still accurate. You do understand patterns they can't recognize. But your ego has become inflated by this knowledge, and you lose the ability between your human self and the archetypal content flowing through you. And when he warned about possession by the unconscious, you stop being able to perceive these archetypal patterns and someone who believes they are the archetype. The second trap is what modern psychology contamination, though Jung described in terms. Because your intuitive function is so sensitive to unconscious content, you don't just perceive logical patterns, you absorb them. Your boundaries between self and other evolving. You walk into a room and not only sense that someone's depressed, you become depressed. You don't just recognize they're anxious about the relationship. Their anxiety becomes your anxiety. You don't just perceive your family's dysfunction. You observed that intuitive introverts often have the ability to distinguish between their own psychological content and the psychological content they're perceiving in others. You become what we call a psychic sponge, absorbing the emotional and unconscious material of everyone around you. This is a devastating secondary problem. You begin to lose your sense of individual identity and what belongs to them. You start taking responsibility for other people's pain. You feel guilty for problems you didn't create. You exhaust yourself trying to heal wounds that aren't yours. You begin to be needed feel like the only way to justify your overworth.
Personal Journey Overcoming Anxiety. Anxiety weighing heavy? Lighten the load with our support. This course set me on the path to success. Don't wait. Begin your journey today. Comment ready.
So that's really an insight into who I am and what I think about. It's what plays a major role on my mind. To me, the things that I'm interested in, as far as my art, spirituality, how all these things tie in together, and why I look into psychology helps play a major role in mindset. And sometimes when you're on a journey to self development, it's a lonely road. It's a journey that most people are afraid to embark on because it takes accountability, it takes time, it takes patience, it takes a lot of things that this world don't. This world is really a fan of this type of energy flow. So that's why it's going against the grain and it's promoting everything else because you see it's only 2% that think like this, that feel like this, and that actually do stuff about this, and that actually change the world with the way that they are. Be perfectly fine with who you are and what you are. I was watching a video the other day about what was a reel with Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. He was talking about if you're born, you're supposed to die a boy. If you're born a girl, you should die a girl, and there's nothing wrong with who you are. Who you are is who you're supposed to be. And I'm not saying it's to offend anybody, but it's just to let everybody know that it takes self care and self love to even be courageous enough to go for your dreams and to be fully who you are designed to be, to find your purpose and passion in life. Your purpose may not be your passion, and that's all right. But we all are designed for a certain path in life. Sometimes we just follow the crowd because it's easier to do and not really what we need to do to be who we need to be in the world and play our position in the world. We could run from ourselves for the rest of our lives until, to form another existence, another having the same mental experiences because we're psychologically about patterns, patterns that people have of behavior. And these things, if you can learn how to put them together to your advantage to move forward in a more harmonious way, these things are here for to help you move forward and advance. And that's what I'm here for, to help you move forward and advance from the knowledge that comes to me as well. And it helps me out. And I spend time learning these things and putting them into a way that I can express them as I do with my art, as I do with my education, and as I do with my spirituality. And these things are important in life. And this is what I do as far as mental health awareness, because these things, in so many words and so many different ways, it was basically telling you to be aware you feel and to know that you're not alone, to find your people and how to handle these things when they come, because you have moments where on what to do and how to do it, or not sure how to process what you're feeling because it's a new thing. And that's all right, that's fine. I'm just here to encourage you all to take a break from time to time about your busy lives, your busy schedule, and find out what makes you happy. And know it's all right to pursue happiness. That's what I'm about, and that's what success is to me about, being able to attain happiness day to day, time after time. And success, when you're achieving those things that make you happy, to me that makes me happy, and to me that's success, and they go hand in hand. They're two different things, but one and the same. So with that being said, that's why I always slightly for entertainment, but vacation and inspiration to help you guys get started on chasing your dreams and goals, and also to start making money online if that's what you're here for, because that's what I do and it's what I specialize in, making money online. Also, I advocate for mental health awareness, equipping people with tools and tips to manage stress and anxiety, because that's a big part of mindset. With this mindset, it comes a field of emotions, a field of things that'll discourage you and overwhelming. Knowing what to do with that knowledge is when you become wise. You can, like they say, sit on a overload of knowledge and it can become a burden to you. But that's what this video is about. Now, hopefully, it give you an aha moment and you can get something from this as far as mindset and why mindset is important and why I said and cultivating my own personal mindset, become the person that I need to be to live and experience the dreams of my desire and desire an abundance of wealth, not a nice lavish lavish things. I'm trying to get me a Mercedes Benz G wagon. It's like 100,000. It's my dream car. I'm working on that. I already got it customized and everything with my bank. So little things like that, be like to walk inside there to no money down, good credit and stuff like that. It takes a certain type of vibe to be around those type of vibes, and I'm just trying to just gonna feel like to get those keys to the land apartment complex I just put down on it. That's the desire to do with my life and my company. And I'm just growing mentally, emotionally, physically, in every way to become that person to meet that reality. When to nurture it the same way that I'm nurturing everything else that I start and plan on finishing. So the marathon continues, but it doesn't continue never get started. But peace and blessings for Team Angie. I'm just checking out this little bit and repost it so you guys enjoy it. But happy Tuesdays, talks with Team Angie, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Trying to get back to blogs and do other things that I enjoy doing as far as putting out information for you all and putting in a strategic way that it makes sense. Everything I do is strategic, but as far as these new endeavors that I'm embarking, figuring it out, and I'm just going as I go. Let's just say that. And I feel like this is the best way. The more you do it, the more you be critique your all these things are skills. Being able to talk on camera is a skill. Being able to put titles and descriptions together and thumbnails, package your videos is a skill. Being able to know how to tag it correct, put it in the right categories. All these type of things are little strategic things and tedious things that comes with content creating. So if you also want to become a videos out or watching people videos or copying people content, but for those of you who really create content, it's a process and you appreciate what goes into these videos. Some people have viral some people they really really try their best to put these videos together and they really put the time and effort into it. Some people get lucky and some people just you know they really doing this. But for those who do get lucky, it's possible. Don't have syndrome. You did it. You can do it. And the only thing you need to do to keep going is just to go over your work and make sure you're for the right reasons. Whenever you're doing something and you're not authentic with it, it's never going to last. Nothing real. Be real with yourself first and foremost. And second of all, whatever work, keep doing that. And be out here trying to be everything and lose yourself in the process. Know yourself and be yourself and share it with the world. Share yourself with the world in a genuine way, an authentic way. Don't be out here get a viral moment, and that's not a safe thing to do. A lot of creators be out here doing that, trying to get some attention from time to time, but be respectable. You want to make it home and you want to live a long, prosperous life. You don't want to be out here putting yourself in danger or yourself in jeopardy to get a little attention. Just because you make a viral video doesn't mean you're gonna get rich. You have to be in position. So when it does happen, that you can capitalize on the situation and not the other way around. And favor to capitalize or gain from that momentum. And that's what I've learned. That's what I'm learning. That's what I teach, because everything is a system and everything is about strategy. The way you tackle a goal is important. You can have an idea, but the way you get to it and the way that you start and finish it is important. It's important to have a vision, important to have goals, and those things just help you have a smooth process throughout the transition. And that's really just what it is. It's simple. You have instructions. You have instructions equal structure, and then to get the thing done, to give you more confidence and more clarity on trusting yourself and knowing that you have the ability to figure things out and structure in a way that it's going to make sense to become a complete project. Got flies in my face. That's what I hate about the summertime. These flies, the mosquitoes. I'm not trying to get on no negative stuff, but the summertime, like, man, it come this our way out with the book. Like the autumn, this next season, my birthday and my company anniversary, September 22nd, to be my third year in business. Um, Transformative. Thus, pivoting next. This video and a lot about why I do what I do and why it's important to me. Mental health awareness is something that became art, and something that's a part of me. Being introverted is something that you guys haven't picked up on, or I haven't told you. Like, the stuff that I'm doing now may seem natural, it may seem like it's easy for me, but it's not. I'm nervous every time I get on camera. Um, to open up, I'm usually like to myself a lot. This video really explains why I'm like that, and the way that I see the world, and the way that I try to express how balance myself out to have a worldly experience, also with the things that I see as far as the unconscious mind, the signs, symbols that make sense to me, and these hidden help me achieve different things in life, being conscious and being aware. That's why I practice gratitude from day to day. When I wake up, gratitude is the first thing that I appreciate and I practice. And then from that moment on, I just look for it, and I had that become a daily part of my reality. Where the mind goes, the energy goes, and the attention goes as well. So my attention is on things that's helping me become grateful, and more things that I'm appreciating, and I'm just looking for art in my company, and a lot of things I embark on, not to be egotistic. Appreciate your wins and celebrate your wins, because it's important to know that you are achieving things, and achieve things takes time, it takes effort, it takes courage, and it's not something that's easily done, but it's simple. Once you get started and you achieve, you should celebrate your success. So that's what I do from time to time. Every little small win, whether it's just being positive, negative thoughts, I celebrate that for the day. Trying to learn a new skill that I haven't learned, like what I showed on my Facebook page. I just got a certificate from Google for mastering prompts, which is something I'm proud of. My company anniversary, September 22nd, to be my third year. I haven't given up, and that's the only difference between me and anybody else. Want to be in this position, you get started and you keep going, and you just figure it out along the way. It's not an easy thing. It hasn't been easy, and there's still times where I'm not sure on how to evolve and upscale, and need to be in a successful position that I see me being it. Actually, what you see success being, it's not what the world picture it as. Success can be as small, and this is why I celebrate, because it's success to me. Success can be as small as day and getting out the bed, even though you didn't feel like it. That's a major key, a major takeaway for not every day. I feel like even getting out the bed, I didn't feel like getting up today. Oh, yeah, I'm on like 3 hours of sleep. And besides that, I was having a nightmare. It was getting with spirituality and having these experiences and practicing engaging with the team. And I know when I could get up out of there happened, and then I got up drained because I was being drained in my spirit. And I'm like, I'm ready to tackle the day. I'm successful for getting up out of that slum and getting up out of that bed. I could have started the day off negative. That way it was um I had reasons too, but I let it go. I processed what I was feeling. I processed what was going on, and I kept it moving. And here I am right now doing my work, and I'm going to continuously do what I set out to do for the day, to gain what I can for today, because these are the presents given to me. So I appreciate this day. I appreciate being able to get up, not only that, but in my right mind and with the energy to move forward. That's the number one thing that helps you keep going, being grateful that you have a mission for the day, looking at things that you don't have from yesterday. Because some people don't wake up today and get out the bed. They get up and they go into the spirit world. Some people die in their sleep is what I'm saying. And unfortunately, we're not promised tomorrow. We're not even promised the next moment. So it's important to be grateful that you even have this moment, and you can have a conscious mind on things that you can do. Whether you want to waste a day or fuck around, you want to engage in a lot of frivolous things that excite you. That focus on that. Do that. Be mindful of how you spending your time and where your mind is going to, the things that you engage with and that you allow to be entertained by and that you entertain. I entertain a lot in education, so I engage in educational posts, educational videos. What I just showed you guys was education for me as well, and this is how I'm spending my future self will thank me, because a few years from now I'll have a lot of information that I need to get through that future time. Time. I'm now in a time where technology is an everyday part of life. And I grew up, I'm not as old as you might think, I'm not as young as you may think, but I grew up in an era where computer classes was needed. We was just learning how to use the PCs, learning how to type. I had to take computer classes to learn how to type and use Windows, use Microsoft and stuff like that, the basics of computers. So I grew up in an era where we didn't even have cell. Some people did, and it was the big ass. Excuse my French. I curse, and I do curse. I do some cursing. So whatever, right? We had the flip on down the line, but nevertheless, like technology wasn't an everyday part of life. To get on a computer, we had to go to the library. He was in, and he still is into technology experience. For me, he had a laptop and a lot of things that he do. He's an engineer, so he's into that type of stuff. So we had a glimpse of our youth, his stuff. But nevertheless, like I'm just being open minded to learning. 2010, which was like 15. Facebook. It was other stuff. Messenger. For those of you know, that's how we used to chat, and also the party lines and stuff like that. It was a different time. But like I say, times change, and if I was to never be open minded and to become balanced with the things that's allowing me to process these changes, like in the past, I still be riding horse carriages and still trying to learn Windows and learn how, all this stuff that a lot of people close minded to. That's why a lot of older generations, they don't know a lot of things because they don't want to open their minds to learn. They don't want to evolve with the time, and they don't want to spend the time necessary to get the things that they need in the times. When those times were happening about Windows and computers, I spent that time in those times learning. And so now now that's going to digital currency, crypto, Visa cards, it's all digital money, whether you think of it that way or not. You've been doing digital money for a while, as long as you've been using Cash App, Chime, PayPal, any of these master prepaid cards, Green Dot, you know what I'm saying? You get the drift, right? You've been participating in digital currency, but you have a physical credit card, debit card, whatever you want to call it, the card, right? That's a physical representation of that digital currency. And now it's just more so you don't have to have a physical at all. It's just on your phone, your TV, whatever, your crypto wallet. That's where your currency is. You can you can send and receive money, and this is currency is now digital as well, and a lot of other things as far as make weapons, the 3D houses, basically the print machine, the print you out these material things. But it started out virtual, and a lot of abundance and manifestation about the mindset, the way that you use your mind, the way that you in your mind. That's why I always start off with this book, because it talks a lot about not allowing the world to think for you, to be courageous and to be an individual who will stand out against the world and think for yourself. A lot of people are easily led astray. People perish for lack of knowledge, and it's just what it is, because they don't spend time being educated. The time, and I said that to say this because times change, and now the time is to be learning about digital currency, digital assets, just digital period. So I preach about making money online, because the future is moving online, which isn't a bad thing, but it's scary for some of those of you who don't want to prepare yourself to learn why the time is now to learn. Next year, it might be something different. Who knows? You see what's going on with the world as far as not having peace, learn what to eat, what not to eat. And we're just gonna go through a quick little list of, especially here in America, because we have different ingredients, and I haven't been out the country, so I don't know what you guys have everywhere else. But here, if you come here, I'm warning you. And if you're already here and you're not conscious, you don't know what's going on, I'm bringing awareness to you. So these are 10 things you want to stay away from. Don't put in your mouth. Don't consume it. Well, I ain't gonna tell you guys what to do and what not to do. Do as you please. Take my advice. I'll put another segment out for that. But nevertheless, I'm gonna wrap this up. Peace and blessings, and just remember, the time is now to be educated. Don't always question everything. Don't let somebody educate you. If you feel something isn't right, you feel something isn't correct. As far as morality, as far as being like just factual. I just say morale, because you can have facts and get manipulative. That's what it is. A way that people manipulate people is by using truth and twisting it, turning it, and using certain insights or whatever. It's an art of war, and as peaceful as I preach about, I am a master art of war. So it just goes hand in hand. It's a time for everything. I don't like to be on that type of time, but it's nice to know. Be a conqueror when it's time to war, because it happens. There was a lot of stuff going on, but when I realized what was going on. I was in this auditorium or something around somebody I was familiar with, but not, I don't know him, but just in this, how I feel about people. And I felt this person like he's sitting on a bench, not a bench, but we're like, I'm on the bench and he on the bench, but we're on different benches. He and the one that's turned around talking to me. And there's people coming in, and there's people all around, like grouped out or whatever. And it's me and him. We have people surrounding us to listen to what we're talking about and also to engage in the conversation. I don't really know this guy. I don't remember his face, nothing, but I feel he's a familiar spirit, and we're chopping it up like one of the bros and one of the guys. You know what I'm saying? So like now here come the people, other people that's a part of our clique or affiliates or whatever. You know, they're gathering around us because they're in our section, whatever. And it's like maybe there are friends of friends or whatever, right? But me and this guy, we know each other. And comes another guy that I don't really know because I don't really. His energy is like I can't read it, so I'm paying attention to him now, and everybody is coming from this way. They're like on my side. Me and dude is talking, and then another dude is right next to him, and he's like right in front of me because he's in my pew or whatever, my aisle. He's like we're face to face, he's side to side or whatever. The dude that I was talking to that I know he's around, and he's right next to me in my same pew, facing me though, my side. And then come another guy sit right, and then some other people come around in front and in back. So the guy that I'm paying attention to, because so it could be a good or a bad. And this is how I read people or whatever. If I don't feel the energy, if I don't, I want. So besides that, he's coming to me. So that's why I was kind of on him because I didn't know. And now I figured out. I'm finding out that he got an issue. It is what it is, right? He's saying whatever his issue is with me, and I'm listening, and I don't have a problem with that because I'm not perfect. You're gonna have problems with people, and I respect what he's saying because he's bringing his problem to me. We finna deal with this issue, so um, I don't have a problem with that. But what I'm having a problem with is another guy that was sitting next to me that I just was talking about earlier. I kind of knew his energy, but don't really fuck with him. Like like he not one of my rounds, but he around. So I'm having an issue with him now because the dude who's bringing his grievance to me, he was saying whatever his problem is with me. This guy is now starting to co-sign, and I'm like, well, if you had a problem, you should have said something too, because he have a problem with me. My problem is with you because now I have a problem with me that you didn't ever say anything, bringing it out because somebody else is, on that topic. And that's I don't like that type of stuff. So now I'm bringing my problem to you. I put him on. I'm bringing my issue out with this guy that's next to me because now I'm ready to turn up on him. I'm like, it's starting to click in my mind. I'm starting using what's telling me makes guy was talking about me to that guy and got him having rationalizing his mind on what he already think or thought about me, and now it's an issue from bringing an issue with me, so that So I'm like, I'm notice that he's the this the one who, and I'm gonna get to this guy second after I with this guy first. So now I'm getting a feel like like get some setup type stuff going on or whatever. And I'm starting to get uneasy in my spirit. So I'm like, I don't even know this guy go down. So I'm like, all right, whatever, right? It is what it is. So then stuff started like it just started getting weird. that's when I realized, like, oh yeah, weird. And it was time to realize, like, what's, and I was like, that was kind of intense because it was out of nowhere. And I don't usually dream. I don't have dreams. I just sleep. Ready for the day. I already have in mind what I want to do, and I'll be ready to get to it. But with that, it was like, what's going on? You know, I was kind of concerned about, like, well, I'm finna have to deal with this guy, and we have an issue now, and with the other guy on board, and it's like I'm already because of what just happened, and it's like trying to process it. But I could have kept that vibe and energy, and, you know, like engaged in that. But it was like whatever, right? You know. Now I have to process this different reality because now I know that that was that and that this is this. But now I'm realizing, like, oh, it's really early and I had just laid down. I stayed up for a bit. Now it's another negative energy trying to on your dreams and goals. Don't focus on what makes you happy because right now I'm in a state of mind of, you know, I'm tense, I'm angry, I'm tired, I'm going down a negative downward spiral with these emotions. You know, they're not nothing to lift me up at the moment. Put up and go. I need to, you know, uplift myself mentally, physically, emotionally. So it was like that was my challenge for today, and just getting up out the bed was my success for the day. Small win, but very. And I'm going through different challenges throughout the day, and I'm looking forward to them. You know, I'm not running from it. I'm not looking at these challenges as me being a victim. I don't look at myself as a victim because I'm experiencing things that may seem challenging at the time. You know, I put out a goals like to get over challenging times, frustrating times, or negative times. You know, some people come with their negativity. I just dealt with my shit. You know, like these challenges come throughout the day, but the mindset is important, not to be swallowed up by these things because they can, and they will destroy you if you allow it to. And it's always a battle of the mind because these things come to destroy your mind and to take your mindset, energy, and focus and put it on things that aren't helpful, that aren't really a desired reality. You know, you just shuffle these things out and you keep it going, keep it moving. But yeah, I know I said that.